We are delighted to have such a distinguished educator and political leader with us here today. I am honored to introduce the man who Peter Drucker in Inc. magazine described as the most visible innovator and entrepreneur in this country today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Honorable Newt Gingrich.
Thank you. Thank you all very, very much. I must say that I used to serve on the aviation subcommittee. I ran for Congress in 1974 and 1976 and lost. I finally won in 1978. And I served for 20 years in the Congress and represented the Atlanta airport and the Hampton Air Traffic Control Center during most of that period. So I had some opportunity to serve in the aviation subcommittee until I became, in fact, I was the ranking member when I became the Republican whip. And then I gave that up in order to focus on trying to create a majority. So let me give you my personal belief about where we are, and then we're going to talk about the election, and I'll take questions. I believe, and I want to check this with your own sense of reality, I believe if you look out 25 years, if we do not get fundamental change in our politics and government, we will not be capable of competing with China and India.
Aero TV is brought to you by Cirrus aircraft have always been easy to fly. Now they're easier than ever to buy. A complete line of ownership programs gives you everything you need to purchase, trade, finance, lease, insure, and warranty your Cirrus. There's even an ownership program for non-pilots. The Cirrus Access Pilot can teach you how to fly or fly the plane for you. Find out more at www.cirrusdesign.com. Cirrus, for the love of flying. Now, back to Aero TV.
The first thing I operate off of is a belief that we're going to get 4 to 7 times as much new science in the next 25 years as we got in the last 25 years. There are more scientists alive than in all of previous human history. We add to their number every year. They get better computers and better instruments every year. They're connected by cell phone and email. They're then connected by licensing, venture capital, and royalties. Now, what does that mean? Well, what does 4 to 7 times mean? Well, imagine you're trying to design the future of American aviation, and you're on a working group looking at 2033, which is not an irrational distance to plan a national system. It's also not irrational for humans. My 2 grandchildren, Maggie is 8, she'll be 33 in 25 years. Robert is 6, he'll be 31. So we're talking about their life, their working time. Well, if we're going to get 4 times as much new science, a working group today trying to understand 2033 would be the equivalent of a working group in 1880 trying to understand today. That's what 4 times would be. Now remember, 1880 is pre-automobile, pre-airplane, pre-long-distance telephone, pre-electric light, pre-television, pre-radio, pre-motion picture. I mean, how would you explain having come here? But if it's 7 times as much new science, then it's the equivalent of being with Sir Isaac Newton in 1660 trying to discover calculus. Now, nobody on the planet, I recently addressed the Air Force chief scientist, about 30 people, and I said to them, nobody on the planet has a model for dealing with this. 65% of the new knowledge will come outside the US. It'll mean an explosive series of breakthroughs in materials technology. Nanoscale science and technology will revolutionize how we build things, and it will revolutionize sources of energy. And I guarantee you there will be aircraft flying by 2033 that are radically lighter, radically stronger, and stunningly different than anything we've seen up till now. Because that's what the impact of materials technology and energy is going to do. And they will be managed by electronic information systems unlike anything we've seen.
Aero TV is brought to you by
Today, there is an affordable, high-performance, easy-to-own and easy-to-operate very light jet designed with you in mind. Far less expensive than any other twin-engine jet to buy, it is also the least expensive to own and operate. It is the Eclipse 500. The jet that's easy to buy, easy to fly, and fun to own. The jet for you.
Now, back to Aero TV.
Glenn Moore said in 1962 that the price of computing would drop every 16 months, that we would be able to double the amount of computer power that we could buy per dollar every 16 months. That turns out to be 100 times a decade. And it hasn't changed much. In fact, there's some studies indicating that this model started around 1890. Now, what does a 100-fold increase in computing power mean? It means if you could buy 1 unit in 1960, and you bought 100 units in 1970, and you bought 10,000 units in 1980, and you bought 1,000,000 units in 1990, you'd buy 100 million units in 2000, and you would buy 10 billion units in 2010. That's the lifespan of a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. So when we were playing Top Gun a little while ago, just think about that. When we build an aircraft carrier today, we have to expect that in its lifespan, its competitors will get a 10 billion-fold increase in computing power per dollar, and it'll be ubiquitously wireless. And so we're going to have all sorts of opportunities. We could today have 40% more effective air traffic space if we went to a GPS, a three-dimensional GPS model space-based system. And about 14,000 unionized air traffic controllers are currently holding about 100 million American passengers hostage in order to protect the union's dues. It is an example of why the system is a mess. But all of that will start breaking down.